And so this actually reminded me of that story where, there's some gnarly shit going on with the world. Oh,
Yeah, that
check
sounds.
this out. Check this out. So for many of the children, especially the younger ones, so this is what I was talking about, right? Whereas like when you're young, when you're super young, you feel like you're more connected to the world, or you could see things that you can't see the more you grow up. It almost has it's almost as if you have 20/20 vision, but only when you're still young, only when you're a baby. Then as you grow, you sort of become jaded. It's like you become narrow-minded. You become more and more narrow-minded. Except if you're Annie, of course. If you're Annie, anything can happen.
Always expanding like the universe.
What's that? Oh, right.
That article did sound a little bit too detailed to like come from kids, because didn't he say the aliens were there to visit the kids more?
I mean, it does, but at the same time, it's like, first off, again with the names, it doesn't sound real, right? And secondly, they're saying before the kids actually, met these aliens and saw that flying saucer up close, they said that they, sort of sealed off the place where you couldn't get near it because it was dangerous. Yet somehow they were able to get close and approach them. And so, like, which account is true? Like, did they actually seal off the place? Or did the kids reach there before the place was sealed off? Also, what happened to these aliens? It's like, none of that is actually mentioned.
I think it was sealed before that, like even before that. Not for the aliens. I'm talking about just sealed off because it's dangerous. Yeah. It is Africa.
Yeah, but still, if it was sealed off, then how were they able to get that close to it? How are they able to land a ship like that? So for the children, apparently their astonishment and awe was turning to outright fear, and some of them began crying and screaming as these otherworldly beings frolicked and cavorted about. The creatures then apparently just vanished into thin air. So that explains what happened. After which the craft rose above the trees and shot off into the distance to leave them awestruck. The children then ran back to the school in a panic and explained the bizarre series of events to the adults, who were at first apprehensive and not a little skeptical about it. The children were then asked to separately draw pictures of what they had seen, and spookily what was depicted on paper was eerily the same across the board. It was at this point that the adults began to believe that perhaps something really unexplainable had happened out on the rural schoolyard, and that it was not merely the imaginations of a bunch of scared kids. Do you guys see it? Do you guys see the sketch?
Yeah.
The incident began...
Only a kid drew that?
Yeah. And so apparently they all had the same account of what they saw. So they all separately drew their own sketches, and all the sketches looked the same. The incident began making the rounds in the news, helped along by local African UFO researcher Cynthia Hind. And when word got out into the open, it attracted the attention of eminent American Harvard psychiatrist, Cambridge Hospital physician, and Pulitzer Prize-winning author Dr. John E. Mack, who made his way all the way to Zimbabwe to do an investigation. Along with him, Mack would spend several days meticulously interviewing witnesses and perusing the sketches the children had made. They were both impressed with the calm sincerity with which these kids told their tales. They came to the distinct conclusion that the kids at least truly believed that this had all happened, and that these were reliable witnesses, made even more remarkable due to the fact that many of these rural children had never even heard of UFOs before. Mac would become convinced that they were telling the truth.
It would affect mission efficiency.
Yeah. So what I had was a question, and the people in the comments can answer too if they want. If you could, if like the aliens came to you and they said, "We will take you to our planet. It'll take a year, but like all that is fine. Like you eating and all that is not a concern. But when you come back, since it's so far away, 5 years pass in Earth, would you go and experience their alien planet for a year? If coming back will be 5 years later.
I think I could afford 5 years for the experience. I think it would definitely be worth it.
The world is not big enough for Annie.
Yeah, definitely not. I need to go places that aren't here.
How about you, Ace?
I mean, it depends. Are they gonna pay me for it? Because I'm not cheap, you know. My company isn't just like they gotta pay me. You gotta give me something good, like some good alien currency or some shit that I could use while I'm on there. I don't know, man. Like, to be honest with you, I would be curious, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. It's a matter of perspective and belief, right? And faith. It's like I believe that I'm gonna get there eventually, and it's not just there. It's beyond there. You know. I believe that all of us are gonna get there eventually, not just me. And you know, some of us have already reached there. You know, the people that have already passed from this plane into a completely different plane. I believe that you know, the universe, like I said, is ever expanding and it's so huge. And this stage that we're in right now is just the first stage. There's a lot more to it, and it's like it doesn't matter how logical you want to be, or if you don't believe in God and in His angels and the messengers of God, you know, Jesus. It doesn't matter if you don't believe in that or not. At some point, if you have traveled the world, if you have seen all this small world compared to the grand scale of things, if you had truly lived, you will notice that there's a lot of magical things going on in life. There are things that go beyond logic. There are things that are magical, that almost feel like miracles. You know what I mean? And so that essentially makes you believe that this can't just be the limit of it all. This can't be the limit of like, your mortality can't be the limit of it all. There's more to your soul than that. There's more to you, your existence, than that. And so I personally believe that eventually it's going to happen, but it's not going to be on the aliens' terms. It's just going to be the natural order of things.
Okay.
What about you, Coco?
I'll go.
That's simple. That's clean.
Quick with it.
You're already sick of this place, huh?
Nah, just to have the experience of seeing things that nobody ever seen, that interested me. Alien or not, just seeing things that's never been seen. You know what I mean?
What about you guys?
That's worth 5 years to you?
Absolutely.
Well, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, why is 5 years a big concern? Why would that be a big concern for him? Like, 5
You're
years,
getting
that's nothing.
infinite of experiences doing that. You know what I mean?
I mean, dude,
Like,
if they look anything like that picture, I wouldn't really like 5 years around that. I don't know. I mean,
you get used to it.
I'd miss my girlfriend, dude. Like, I'd miss like a different form of interaction. Does that make sense? Oh, if I could bring her. Oh, well, wait. Is it gonna be the same girlfriend for 5 years though? I don't know about that.
Okay.
That'll still be a problem.
When you break up, they just bring her back.
And bring somebody else? So what? I'm gonna be like the sultan of like their planet. Like every couple of months, I'll just have them bring a new bride from Earth. Okay, I'm down with that. Yeah, I'm definitely down with that. That sounds a lot more cooler now. Now you've definitely incentivized this experience for me.
You just bring the sacrifices to them.
Sacrifice? Is that what you would consider to be? Like if
You don't
you're
gotta say
if,
the.
dude, come on. Like if you're in a relationship with me, that would be considered as a sacrifice? Come on, Annie. You know me better than that. I'm not that bad. What the hell?
You meant the girlfriends. You sacrifice.
Yeah, the girlfriend is the sacrifice. You leave her as payment.
Well, what? No, so I'm supposed to give them the girlfriend as a sacrifice?
Well, you said 5 years. You don't want to be locked in, so there's your way out. Feel like you can keep her. I can go home now.
Interesting. I mean, it's a little bit evil, but something worth considering, maybe. Well, if that ever happens, then, I'm going to blame you guys for this idea. But anyway.
You're going to thank us.
It's just an interesting thing.
Anyway, so I would love it for, our viewers to actually tell us what they think. Like, if they had been offered this, would they consider actually, leaving this world and embarking on this fancy adventure?
Yeah, comments.
It would be interesting to see what people think about it. Guys.
Yeah.
What I was trying to say earlier, like before you pointed out this awesome article, was that it seems almost as if it's like this. Sometimes you feel like in your life, in everyone's life, it's not just special cases. Everyone's life always seems to be centered around certain things happening that lead you down a certain way. Is it plausible to generalize this? That we go through certain things in life that lead us down a certain road. And that if these things hadn't happened the way they did, we wouldn't be down the road that we're going through right now. Correct? With everything in life. With our families, with the jobs that we have, with the places that we live, with the trips that we go on. Like, all of that is because of certain factors that lead you to go down these roads and lead you to live your life the way you live it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you're saying like our environment shapes our future or shapes our lifestyle?
I'm saying that, but I'm going even broader than that. So I'm going from an even broader perspective. That it's not just the environment. It's what shapes the environment as well. If these accounts are real and if these aliens exist, I feel like they existed for a reason. I feel like there was a reason why all of this happened the way it happened. And I feel like their involvement in our lives is to help shape life the way it is right now. It's essentially establishing a future for our race. Because no matter which way you think about it, it almost seems as if there's a balance to everything. And that's the reason why we exist the way we do, and that's why we're able to survive as a species, because of this balance. And you'll notice that the main source of life, other than water, like water is the source of life because, our bodies consume it and it's 80% water. But if you look at its origin, if you look at the origin of life and the reason why we're illuminated, it's always light. Like, you always see that, light is the reason why we're able to see, why we're able to breathe, right? Like, photosynthesis cannot be the way it is without the existence of light. And photons work in such a way where it's beautiful, it's to teach you, like, what I mean about the balance of things, where photons, it's almost as if they're blind. They can't see. They are the light. They don't see the way we see. It's because of these photons that are constituted within light that we're able to see. But light itself does not see. It hits blindly. These photons, imagine like wearing a blindfold and being shot in a direction and knowing exactly where you're going to go. knowing your target, reaching the core of these plants that allow them to sprout and survive, and allow them to go through the process of photosynthesis, where it gives us the air that we need and it takes the contaminated air that we release. So without this light, we wouldn't have life. And this is the point that I'm trying to make. If these aliens did exist, I do believe that it's not something to be feared. If they, the same as us, rely on the same source of life, then they needed to be there. They are part of life. Now, depending on what type of person you are, if you would consider these beings as aliens, then you might as well consider everyone else that you don't know an alien. Because at the end of the day, they all constitute what life is about. So if you're sort of an introverted person, then that would be your perspective of people and, you know, those who are strangers to you. But if you would look at it in a way where your perspective is of life in general, and the source of all life comes from the same essence, then you'll be able to understand that, you know, these aliens, regardless of whether they exist or not, are part of life, are part of the natural order of things that needed to happen the specific way that it happens in order for us to survive as a species. And so that's just food for thought for anyone who is ever concerned or had any form of anxiety whenever they listen to this sort of stuff, is that don't really let it get to you. Try to think of the whole picture. Try to see the whole thing and see how beautiful it comes together in the end. All right, guys. And on that note, I'd like to end our episode. Thank you for joining me today. Anything else you want to add, Annie? Coco?
No, I'm good, man.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, guys. And with that, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and let us know in the comments which topics you would like to hear us talk about next, as well as which games you would like to see us play. Till next time.
Unbelievable. The aliens who haven't revealed themselves in hundreds of years were hiding underground?